took grants, all the split at the same damn time. Hello, everyone. Hello. Come on, trickle into the room. Get settled. All right. Hope you guys are good. I am Mambo. I am the Coven Mother and founder of Vision of Dawn Tour. I'm also the founder and facilitator of the Charm School Hoodoo Mentorship Program. I'm your weekly reader. I'm here every Sunday or Monday, depending on the week, and I'm a dope bitch straight up out of Oakland. Thank you for joining me this week. As you come into the room, go ahead and say hello just so I can say hello back. Hit those scale emojis once you get settled in. If you have been here before, then you know the scales mean a lot to me. They align with my energy. They help me stay on track. So do that as an act of support, definitely. If you came here because you saw me post in a group and you know that I give readings to the audience, know that I will definitely do that. As always, my request is just that you let me get through all of the general spreads before we go ahead and jump into individual readings from people who have questions for me to ask. I'm not going to dilly-dally the way that I usually do when I get on here. I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into it right after I light my Palo. Can't really start unless I have my Palo lit. Hey, Allie, good to see you. Hey, Nero, good to see you. Hello, Shwazy. Thank you for joining me this week. Again, we'll go ahead and get started in just a moment. Oh, I need to buy a new pack of Palo. All I got are the nubs. Me and my little Palo nubs. All right. Let's go ahead and jump straight on into it. Please don't be too tired for me. I used this one for my last few readings today. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits will walk with me. My elevated ancestors, what wisdom do those who are watching in real time or in replay need about the week ahead of us? What wisdom does the collective need about the week of July 14th through the 20th? Please give us insight into the nature of the lessons, blessings, challenges, breakthroughs that we will encounter over the next 7 days. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Feel free to share the link to this reading with those who you know would like this information. Oh, Shwazy, thank you. It's been a weekend of me minding my own business and hydrating and taking out my braids. So if I look nice, it's a reflection of the care that I poured into myself over the weekend. I'm trying to, some of you guys know that get readings with me know that I will typically do readings on Sundays. I only stopped doing Saturday readings around November of 2024. But I'm trying to actually pivot out of doing them on Sundays as well. I mean, I know it's convenient for my clients that work 9 to 5s, but it drains me. It really does. There's nothing worse than being tired by Monday. So, but yeah, I've been focused on care this week. Okay. This may be a tough message for some people, but it's coming up in the cards and I have an obligation. Hey, Omamore, I hope you had a great time at your concert this past weekend. I cannot wait to pick your brain and see how you felt. That's part of the reason why I focus on self-care this weekend. Ubers, because it's Beyonce weekend in Atlanta, Ubers were like triple price. Bars and restaurants have upped their drinks by like $2 and $3 a piece. So because even though I'm a tourist and I love luxury, I'm very cheap. So I made it a point to stay my black behind in this house until Beyonce goes on to her next stop. I felt like whatever I want to do for fun, that can wait until Tuesday. I know it was expensive. It was expensive. I wanted to go out and have, there's a wine bar that I really love, and I wanted to go out and have a drink and get a charcuterie board yesterday. And then when I looked on their website and saw how they was playing in people's faces, I was like, I'm gonna have to catch y'all next week when y'all come back down to reality. So yeah, that's why I made it a point to mind my business and take my hair down and get things in order for myself. But so I've been talking for probably a few months now at this point about the necessity of getting a hold of your vices on your own. And for those who have done that work, this week should be relatively smooth and peaceful. But for those who have not done that work, it is going to cause disruption in your friendships, right? A lot of times when we don't deal with our vices or we don't look at our shadows ourselves, and it trickles over into our friend group, we assume, how do I say this? Adult friendship is realizing that your friends cannot be your therapists, okay? Adult friendship is realizing that even the people who love you down or who you love a lot are allowed to have limits, okay? And the very first card in this spread that's coming up is the devil card, right? Now, there are two aspects to the devil card. One, and I just touched on it, it's vices. It's vices that have a tendency to run your life and to control you, right? But then the other aspect of the devil card, and this is why I love this representation that they call the devil the fuck boy, it is the arrogances that run rampant within you, right? Capricorns, we know that they are very disciplined, and that's why they're understood as the father of the zodiac. But then there's an aspect of an unevolved Capricorn that is kind of a dick. They are a dictator, right? They think they know everything. Their arrogance can put them in a position where they look on other people with superiority. So there's a hyperfixation that they have about, the lack of refinement in other people with not holding that mirror up to themselves, right? For some of us, it could be either aspect of this Capricorn devil card energy, where it's like we have vices that we are not stopping and thinking about how it impacts other people. For example, I know why this is coming up, and I'm not going to say any names. If you do drugs a lot and you run out of your own money and you're always borrowing money from other people, that is a symptom of your lack of control, your devil energy spilling over into your friendships, spilling over into the environment of people that you typically want to have respect from, because these are people that hold you in high regard. They respect you. They get money with you. You have good reputation with them. Typically, you have, y'all tend to be on the same page, right? So those unchecked shadows and vices, for some of us, unfortunately, are going to spill into not just our friendship circle, but the people that we respect, the people that we have a potential to make a lot of progress, a lot of money, build something with. So some of us are going to be confronted in a really, really harsh way. The reality that even the people that love us and respect us have limits, okay? And when we force people through our resistance towards change, through our lack of control over our emotions, our vices, whatever it is that is running amok, right? That's going to cause pain in those close relationships. Now, for those of us who know enough to know that we can't do the work on our own, who have gotten therapists, who have trusted mentors, who are looking to people who are going to help us with our refinement, we may be able to minimize some of this impact. But trust and believe this is going to press on the patience and on the love that people who respect us have for us. So if we don't already have a life coach or a therapist or somebody that we work with around these issues so that we can refine and be better, right? That Page of Swords energy, knowing that you don't have control or power over your tongue, knowing that you may overstep bounds, you may be reckless with how it is you use your swords, and tapping in a teacher or somebody who can teach us what it looks like to have more self-control, right? If you are one of those people, then even though this is going to be a tough experience or a tough week, in those collectives of people that you respect and see as your work colleagues, as your besties, right? You'll be able to minimize that through humility and through your ability to be a student who is willing to learn about their communication, who is willing to learn what it looks like to strengthen their relationships, right? So this is really good news for us, those of us who either have been doing the work or who are putting in the foundation to do the work. And the reason why Spirit wants you to go ahead and have this difficulty now and learn is A, because of the Neptune retrograde. Not going to go into that tangent. I've already talked about that particular retrograde quite a bit. But they want you to get it out of the way, because as we continue to finish up this second half of the year, we have the potential and the capacity to actually build a lot of really beautiful memories and traditions with the people that we value, right? So this is a time where we're really being asked to think about the ways in which our self-indulgences, our vices, our tendency to lean towards behaviors rooted in narcissism, right? I know we overuse that word a lot. And even though I've talked a lot about there being a difference between there being narcissistic people and narcissistic behaviors, right? Because even the most sweet, well-intentioned people can engage in narcissistic behavior if it's unchecked, right? If we can check ourselves about the ways in which our selfishness or our know-it-all tendencies, right? Our self-indulgences impact people and we can course correct. This positions us to have really beautiful experiences within our communities of chosen family as we go into the rest of the year. So this is why Spirit is really making it clear. If you have not already done this work, and if you have not equipped yourself with a support system to show you your deficits in terms of how you show up within your friendships, within your communities of colleagues, within the communities of people that you respect and who respect you, try to position yourself to have that this week, because that is the difference between you losing people that you value and you having beautiful experiences within those communities, okay? This is a week where when we think about Seven of Pentacles, it's really easy for us to think about money. It's really easy for us to think about the material things that we want, right? But the other thing about the Pentacles is that, again, it's the body, it's the earth, it's our experiences, it's the way we feel, right? It's health. So this is a really important week to look at the health of your closest relationships and the health of the relationships you have with the people that you value and that you respect. And to really ask yourselves, can I continue this, or do I even want to continue this and have this dynamic in 7 years or even 7 months? And if the answer is no, really asking yourself what you need to change, what you need to do differently, how it is you need to invest, right, in those relationships, in better habits, or what needs to be pruned in terms of those relationships and those habits, right? For some of you, part of the dynamic is that you may be too available, right? There may be people that you love them down, but they're calling you at 7 o'clock, 7:15 in the morning when you're trying to get ready for work and get your kids out the door. You're trying to get prayed so that you can, you're trying to pray so that you can be ready for your day, and they're interrupting that. Okay, if you want that relationship to be healthy, you're going to have to boundary set, because when it goes to the future, there may not be, right, it may be difficult for you to maintain that. Be honest with yourself about that. Be honest about how it is you're cultivating something that is going to dictate the way in which those relationships play out in these next 7 months to 7 years. We end with the death card, right? And I love that we started with the devil and that we're ending with death, right? Again, Capricorn, stubborn, hard-headed, know-it-all, believes it needs to do everything on its own. The death card is about the death of those negative aspects of Capricorn, right? And us releasing that within us so that we can have better in the future. Because that's what the death card is about. It's about the death of the old habits and the old ways within us that we need to let go of so that we can have better, okay? Miss Renee, thank you so much. No, I did not turn on Instagram. I love you. I love y'all. I have the best. I don't care. I may not have the biggest audience. I may not have the largest numbers in the world, but guess what? I can absolutely say the people that support me are dope as fuck and look out for me. So thank you so much, Miss Renee. You're absolutely right. I don't have Instagram turned on. So let's change that right now. Unfortunately, they missed the general reading, but hopefully they'll be grateful. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Discard that. Hopefully they'll be grateful for the fact that we are. You may lose. Okay. Hello, Instagram. Good to see you. I apologize. I've already done the general spread for this week, but you will be here for the love reading, the finance reading, and the health reading. So I apologize for that. Before you can catch that part on YouTube. For those of you who are on YouTube with me, I'm just going to wrap up with this last card. So yeah, the death card. This death card moment relates to our associations and our friendships. What are the habits that you engage in? What are the ways of communicating that you engage in that are not good for the long-term health and the future of your relationships? And what can you do to change that so that you don't end up losing these relationships as a result of your own inability to evolve, right? Because, and I'm saying this as a Taurus, right? I'm aware. All of the earth signs struggle with that. All of the earth signs struggle with change. Taurus is the worst about it, but Capricorn and Virgo are not exempt either, right? And so if there are things that, again, that devil card, if there are things you do that you know are pressing up on your friendships and you don't want to lose your friendships, then go ahead, make those changes, allow those old ways to die. And if you don't know what it looks like to have that happen, go ahead and tap in your therapist, your life coach, your mentor, your priest or priestess, somebody that can give you support through this, okay? That is the general reading. Now let's look into money next. Let's look into our relationship with money over the next 7 days. Ancestors, angels, and master spirits with me, my ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about the flow of the energy of money and abundance in our lives over these coming 7 days? What does the collective who are either watching now in real time or who come across this message in the replay need to know about how they treat, handle, speak about, engage with their money between the week of or during the week of July 14th through the 20th? What do we need to be and what do we need to see about our situation, our habits, our environment, in order to have control over this relationship? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. There is some sort of breakthrough that is coming in November for many of us that are watching. I know this because I don't know if you saw me have to slow down when I was saying the date, but Spirit was making the word November bubble up in my mouth. if that makes sense. It's like I almost said November, even though there was absolutely no reason for me to say November. Some of you guys need to sit in meditation over a certain goal that you have, financial goal that you have. You're trying to make something happen in a timeline that is quicker than what it needs to. So sit with your spirits to ask what you need to do between now and November to make things happen for yourself, okay? Hello, Tori. Hello, Misha. Hello, Elisa. Thank you for joining me on Instagram. And again, thank you, Miss Renee, for reminding me to go on Instagram. Because we would not have these three beautiful people joining us tonight had I not been given that reminder. Hey, Tashana, good to see you. Hey, Patal. Hey, Sanidra. Again, if you know people who would be interested in this reading, please do not be shy about sharing this link, this YouTube link, with other people while the reading is going on. If you are on Instagram, do not be shy about reposting this reading, this live, into your story so that people can join us, okay? Yeah. Some of you guys know that you need to be thinking about generational wealth, and you need to be thinking about the future, and you need to be thinking about the things you need to leave behind in terms of your legacy. If you have children, or if you have young people in your family that you see yourself as being responsible for, these are the things you need to be thinking about. But you're fucking tired. Everybody's tired. We are so drained and sleepy. And here's the thing. The reason why you're tired is because you believe that you are obligated to work harder than you need to. That's a false belief that y'all have to leave behind. Wealth is not garnered through a job. I'm going to repeat. Wealth is not attained through a job. So even though you may have a job that you really, really like, or that meets your needs, that is not going to be enough for you to develop generational wealth, to have something to leave behind, right? There are different choices that you need to be making. And you know that you need to make those choices. You know that you need to walk away from the false belief that a job is going to bring you generational wealth. But for some reason, there's a fear around doing it. Some of you all, there is a business that you need to have started or be investing in. And your fear has held you back from doing that. This is the week where you have to get real with yourself and ask yourself, do I want to continue to be burnt out and to carry my burnout into my 60s and low-key 70s, because most people are not retiring by 65 the way that that we would like to, right? But you're not going to be able to do any of that unless you start doing the things that you fear, right? Look, oh God, sorry. I hope nobody, well, I'm just going to tell on myself in case somebody did see it. I got foundation on my head wrap. Let me tuck that in. Y'all know that on Sundays I be in here doing readings and I don't even think about my makeup until right before I got to get on camera. So it'd be a rush job. So just ignore the little makeup mark on my head wrap. But yeah, because you're spinning your wheels doing something, thinking that it's going to set you up to leave something behind in your name. And it's actually not. You are doing a ton of work towards somebody else's legacy. And that's not very helpful, right? So this is a week where you have to, rather than letting your burnout make you retreat and give up, use your burnout to think about, okay, how can I position myself so that I don't feel this worn out again in the future? So that instead of burning the wick at both ends, I'm setting myself up for leisure, right? I'm setting myself up to, yes, I'm willing to work hard, but I don't want to work hard and drain myself, right? That's a really important conversation that you need to have with yourself and your spirits so that it positions you for different. Very first card that comes up. Everybody's thinking about this right now. This is like a collective concern. And it's a collective concern not only because most adults are wondering, like, what do I leave behind? What am I working in, for? And it's typically to have something to leave to your family, right? But it's also a collective concern just because of everything that's going on right now, particularly in the US, with people feeling unstable, being worried about layoffs. Like, people are thinking about, okay, are the things that I'm doing setting me up for generational wealth, right? And some of you can't even think clearly about this, even though it's a major concern, because you are drained, you are burnt out. What do I always say about the Ten of Wands, right? We see the traditional representation of the Ten of Wands with the young man with all of that shit on his back, right? And it's typically that he is overworking himself based off of other people's needs. Half that shit on his back is not even his responsibility, doesn't belong to him. Ten of Wands is a reminder that you need to take some things off your shoulders before you break yourself or burn yourself out, right? So you may really love the work of whatever other company you work for, but at the end of the day, it's somebody else's company. And a lot of the things that you have come accustomed to taking on do not belong to you. So you really got to figure out a way to delegate those tasks back to the people who they not only belong to, but who are going to receive the most benefit from them, right? It's something that you just have to do, even if it's uncomfortable. 8 of Cups, walking away from things that no longer serve you, carving out a new path for you to take on the things that lead to your heart's desires, right? Some of y'all don't want to do this because you're afraid of walking away. You're afraid of being the person that says no, but you're not going to have the clarity and the peace of mind that you need to build that wealth that will make you somebody who creates progress or has some sort of financial breakthrough in the name of your family, right? For some of you all, this is literally being those first-time homeowners in your family, right? Or I don't know who the hell is calling me at this hour on a Sunday. Or setting yourself up to just have independence, right? Because that's one of the things about the Nine of Pentacles. It's a card of independence. Somebody who works for themselves, who makes their own financial calls. You're not going to be able to do that by getting new positions and going up the ranks for other people. So being really honest with yourself about that this week is really, really important, so that way it positions you to know what you need to do. Now, for a lot of us who are watching this, whether it's live or in the replay, we low-key already know what we need to do. We're just afraid to do it, right? Strength is not the absence of fear. It's being afraid and doing that shit anyway. So a lot of you guys need to make that move scared. Apply for that LLC scared. Set up that life insurance account or that savings account scared, right? Make those investments in that crypto that you trust and that you know other people. You've seen other people make money off of it and you are afraid and you're sitting back letting the prices go up further and further and further. Stop being scared of the investments you need to make in your financial future and do it scared. Do it even though it shakes you, okay? We end with the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles makes her wealth through her favorable associations. She doesn't, and that may be promotion, but most of the time it's not, right? It's her being able to do business with people that have a lot of respect for her, right? And part of the reason why people respect her so much is because of the quality of how she takes care of herself. She dresses well. She shows up looking her most beautiful. She takes really good care of herself. And because she takes really good care of herself, people trust her ability to take good care of them. And she often does, right? That Taurus Virgo energy of we're going to have the best, we're going to do the best, we're going to show up the sharpest and the best because we treat ourselves the best, right? That's a very Queen of Pentacles thing. Why is this coming up in this reading? She's also the businesswoman. She's also the boss bitch. And for a lot of you, I'm not saying that you got to go out and quit your job tomorrow, right? Because it could be a business that you do while you keep the job that's rooted in your passion. Majority of y'all are not doing work that's in y'all passion, but I'm not going to read y'all like that. But it could be, right? But she is not afraid to have something that is completely and solely her own. And for some of y'all, that's an investment portfolio. For some of y'all, it's a small business idea that you've been mulling over. The spirit is giving me the number 6. Some of you guys have had a business idea for more than 6 years that you are sitting on and you're doing absolutely nothing with because, and I'm not going to use the word that my uncle just put on my head. It starts with a P, but you're scared. You're scared. This is a week when it comes to your money, you have to ask yourself what your fear is costing you, literally. If you would have not been afraid to make that investment in crypto 6 years ago, there's no telling how many tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars you would have made. Had you not gotten fearful and talked yourself out of starting that business 6 years ago, there's no telling how many customers you would have garnered and how much good word of mouth you would have been able to gotten for yourself by now. So ask yourself what your fear is costing you and figure out how it is you need to nurture yourself so that you have the belief in yourself to go out there and stand in your worthiness and create what you want and garner that good favor, right? Cards that fell out. Ace of Pentacles and the Death card. Part of the reason why this message is coming up is because some of us are going to be, and again, by November, between now and November, that's why Spirit popped that up. That's why November came up. Between now and November, there are many of us that are going to be gifted with a brand new opportunity around whatever this hope and dream is that we have. But if you do not have your spiritual maturation through the Death card, if you don't let your deficits die, which a lot of these deficits are about fear and being way too comfortable with overworking for other people, okay? If we don't let those things die in us now, we will kill this new opportunity. So Spirit wants us to really, if we haven't already started this process, let this be the week that we begin that. So that when whatever comes around, Elisa, that's dope. I think that's brilliant. If you know that your birthday is in November, make your birthday the deadline. That is perfect. Brilliant way to approach this. But start that process of the maturation and the letting those old habits die, those deficits die now, so that we don't fuck off or mess up this new opportunity that is coming our way. All right? I'm going to go with love next, and then we'll finish with health, okay? La Balin said that I'm reading her eyes out. You know what? I'm grateful if the message is resonating with you. That helps me to understand that this is in alignment with what people need to hear in this moment. So thank you for sharing that. Ancestors, angels, and masters, spirits that walk with me, elevated ancestors. When it comes to love and matters of the heart, what do we as a collective need to know about love and romance over these next 7 days? Who do we need to be? And what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environment that will allow us to have the experiences of love and romance we would like to have, to be experienced by those that we love in the ways in which we hope to be seen? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. I was just having this conversation with someone about the need to change for what's coming. Yeah. And I think this is anytime that Mercury is in retrograde, anytime that Neptune or Saturn is in retrograde, those are really opportune times for us to think about personal refinement and really engage in shadow work, right? And it's not just because those retrogrades are troubling, they trouble the waters, they absolutely do. But it's also because, especially when it comes to that Saturn energy, there's a precision and a discipline that allows us to engage in our shadows or with our shadows in a way that's much less like shame based or judgy or emotional than under other transits, if that makes sense. So I wish you the best of luck with that. I wish all of us the best of luck with that. Some of us are trying to force love in situations where people can't handle us. But I don't know any other way to say it. We are trying to force people to love our light when they're not capable of it. And a lot of it has to do with insecurities or depression that they have within themselves. And Spirit is really, really warning us. This is very much for the singles or the situationship people who are tuned in tonight. If people can't handle you at your best, that is a warning, right? People who love you should be able to love you in your vibrance. And they should not try to convince you that in order for you to love them or for them to love you or for you to be loved, that you got to show up smaller, right? Y'all know Sun Card is one of my favorites. And what do I always say about Sun Card? What do I always say about Leos? Leos have a deep sense of self-worthiness and self-belief, right? And respect means a ton to them. The Sun Card is about being a light and being a big energy and being comfortable with taking up space and the worthiness that is required to be somebody that is comfortable with taking up space, right? Now, why is this coming up? Because if you don't allow yourself to nurture this energy and to let it be something that dictates how you move into the future romance that you are building, right? This can cause you some problems later. You should not be building futures or trying to build a future with somebody who won't allow you to be big, with somebody who won't allow you to shine brightly. You low-key can't build this. You cannot build generational wealth. You cannot build a solid foundation. You cannot leave a legacy trying to be in love with someone who only wants you at your muted energy, okay? Now, why is this coming up? Some of us are feeling very disconnected, and Four of Cups, very dissatisfied in a way that is gnawing us very slowly. Think about the energy of a hangover, right? Four of Cups is the card of hangover. So think about the energy of a hangover. A hangover feels like it's trying to kill you slowly. Like that's the only way I can describe it. I've only been hungover twice, and that was exactly what that felt like, right? Some of you are dealing with a gnawing sense of dissatisfaction. And because you are blindly in love, just dumbass in love, right? It's hard for you to understand that, unfortunately, you're feeling that way because you are in love or trying to force a relationship with somebody who is misaligned, right? When the Lover's card is upright, it represents Gemini energy. And Gemini, being the twins, means that you are seeing yourself as a reflection in your lover. It's about reciprocal love. People who being in love with somebody who understands that their actions have consequence over you. But this isn't debilitation in this reading, okay? And because some of us, and I'm saying us loosely just to bring this to a collective so that people don't feel judged, Because some of us are trying to force these relationships with people who are only comfortable with bringing us down in size, it's literally making us sick, right? And that sickness is showing up as spiritual dis-ease, discomfort, right? That's where that nagging feeling is coming from, right? That Four of Cups, I'm dissatisfied, but I can't see clearly, can't see a way out of it energy, right? Over time, that is going to turn into depression. Five of Cups, when it's in a love reading, is the card of misery loving company. You have to be careful to think that your love is so strong that it's going to fix somebody else's self-esteem, that it is going to fix their insistence on being unhappy. Because what it will do is the exact opposite. It will bring you to a place where over time, you inherit their sickness, you inherit their depression, okay? So for a lot of us, when it comes to love, especially those of us who are single or dealing with situationship energy, this is a week of judgment. This is a week where the ancestors and the spirits that you work with are going to be so loud in your court and so unapologetic with the messages that they are giving you. And they're not going to let you run away or gaslight yourself into believing that your partner is not the thing that's draining you and that you are not absorbing your lover's depression and that that's not making you sick. The spirits are not going to let you escape it, okay? So that is something that a lot of us are having to grapple with when it comes to love and romance this week. Are we trying to force a love with somebody who is blinded by our light? And because they find our light overwhelming, the only way they can feel comfortable is by dimming it. If that is you, please know that that person does not love you. And it's not because you aren't worthy of love. It's because, again, Five of Cups, they're so depressed, they're so disconnected that they don't know how to love themselves right now. And so you're going to have to ask yourself, am I so in my pick me, I ain't shit unless I'm in a relationship energy that I'm going to let this person harm me and make me sick spiritually, mentally? Or am I going to listen to my spirits and do what I need to do to call in a love that can match me where I'm at? I tagged what Omo Morare said because she's absolutely right. We are not rehabilitation centers for broken people. And whether it is a love relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's your fucking family, if there are people that are trying to convince you that love is you taking beat up and mistreatment, you have to find a way to excuse yourself, okay? Because it's not going to get any better. The only thing it's going to do is start to show up as pain within you. La Balin, it's literally not worth it. This goes for family members and friendships too. Girl, amen to that. I'm gonna shut my mouth. I'm not gonna say the things I want to say, but amen to that. Amen to that. Okay. We're gonna wrap up with the health reading, and then I'll go ahead and take a few questions from the audience, from those of us who have questions. Hi, Carrie. Good to see you. I don't think I saw you last week. It's good to see you this week. Elisa said that is common, but not with love. It's people in general. It shows up as hostility. Yeah, I've encountered that too, especially because, and I say this all the time, and I know some of y'all don't believe me. I'm a very shy person. I have a lot of personality and I'm smart as fuck and I'm a joy to be around, but I'm actually quite shy. People don't know that because of everything that I do online and that I teach so much, but my energy is very quiet. So I do have a dynamic that comes up with me where people meet me as the shy person. And then once I get comfortable and open my mouth, they're like, oh, fuck, this bitch is competition. How do I kill her? me, bitch. Yeah, but I've experienced a very similar thing to you, Elisa, where it's like yeah, it happens a lot where it's like people get used to me showing up quiet and in service, and then the second that they realize, like, oh, this bitch got a lot of light, the jealousy and the claws come out. But then by then it's too late because people are already gotten addicted to me. Like, what are you gonna do? Cause you gotta laugh, oh Mama Ware. It's so sad. It's so sad that people think. I mean, you are light too, so you know what that's like. It's really sad when people think that they can burn your light out. Like, no, no, you don't even have access to this light. What's wrong with you? All right, let's see what Spirit wants us to know about health and wellness as we go into this next week. Sisters, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about our health and wellness? What guidance do we need to make sure that we are in alignment when it comes to holistic health? Give us wisdom to make sure that we have balance of mind, body, and spirit. Please give us wisdom about the habits we need to sustain, release, or increase so that we show up as our best and live long, healthy lives. And it was some shared is deeply appreciated. I love it. I'm a big Leo. I am the fucking sun. Imagine that you could extinguish it. Girl, people try. People try. And the shit is humorous. I know that from experience as a Leo rising. All you can do is laugh. Like, baby, you gonna hurt yourself hating this hard. Okay. This is I love this message. It's a really interesting message. First of all, I want to point out the fact that I pulled 6 cards and 5 of them are wands, or 4 of them are wands. Some of y'all are doing entirely too much. And the busybody energy, it's hard to even feel it in yourself because the things that you're running yourself ragged for are things that you actually really, really love, right? When we are engaged in the things that we love, sometimes it's really easy to almost check out. It's like a little kid, right? Have you ever took like your nephew or your niece or your baby to Chuck E. Cheese, right? They're so busy trying to do any and everything that they don't even realize that they've exhausted themselves until you literally have to drag them out of the Chuck E. Cheese kicking and screaming. And it's not until the car ride home that they realize how tired they are, right? For some of y'all, that's where y'all are this week. Y'all are on the verge of burnout, but because it's burnout from doing things that you love, you don't feel it, right? And what the spirits want you to know, what the ancestors want you to know, is that sounds great, but if you really love this thing, you have to schedule your care, your self-care into the maintenance of this the same way that you schedule the work, right? Very first card, Empress. Taking good care of yourself, so that you have the capacity for your creativity, right? To pour into the things you love. The Empress is a card of birthing, right? And some of us, it could be around our literal physical womb, but for a lot of us, this is about our capacity for creation, right? Are we setting ourselves up to thrive creatively, to be able to birth new opportunities, new ways of seeing things? Are we taking care of our bodies? Are we tapping into nature and, carving out the time for the sensuality of being tapped into the creative? Are we doing that? And unfortunately, a lot of us are not, because we're just go, 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 because we're so obsessed with and passionate about these things that we care about. And here's the thing, that looks good on the outside, right? You probably have, and I feel like the spirits are reading me, you probably have a lot of people congratulating you for your discipline and your consistency and all this other shit, even though you're working yourself to the bone. But the harsh reality is that if you keep up at this pace, it is going to lead to burnout. It is going to lead to exhaustion. It is going to lead to you just being completely fucking worn to death, shred to bits, right? So this is a week where it's really important that we think about our capacity, what our bandwidth is. And instead of shaming ourselves for not having endless amounts of bandwidth, because no human does, we need to get serious, that Capricorn in the Devil card, right? Get serious about the business of understanding our limits so that we don't burn our limits out, right? How are we positioning ourselves for longevity as opposed to burning the wick at both ends, right? I'm going to pull a card over this Page of Swords because I feel like this is not just about therapy. Clarify the Page of Swords. What do we need to know about the Page of Swords when it comes to our health? I'm pull two. I figured. So this is a week where, and here's the thing, some of us are overcommitted. We have said yes to the participation or the promotion of things that are tangentially related to our passions, and we've over fucking extended ourselves, right? And so the Page of Swords is coming up in regards to it being a hard lesson around our communication, right? We are learning about what happens when we are reckless with our sword, when we overcommit, when we overpromise, and how that leads to our burnout, right? And so the Nine of Wands is coming up as a clarifier over the Page of Swords, talking about rather than feeling shame around it, we have to learn about protection, right? And understand that saying no is not weakness. It's not us being uncommittal. It's about us learning how to say no and have healthy boundaries in the name of our protection. And when we protect ourselves better, that is a way of treating ourselves better. And when we treat ourselves better, it's a lesson that helps us learn how to be business women, right? How to do business, how to be professional in a way that brings us emotional protection, right? Remember, the queens are about emotions. So the Queen of Pentacles is about what do we need to do to set ourselves up to feel emotionally safe around abundance. And a lot of us tend to overcommit out of this fear that if we don't take every single opportunity, no opportunities will be there, right? But if you are a Queen of Pentacles and you understand how abundance works, you understand that just because you say no to one opportunity, it doesn't mean that 5 more aren't going to be behind it, right? So this Page of Swords is coming up so that you can learn about what happens when you overcommit and you don't know how to say no to certain things in the interest of protecting yourself. So the valuable lesson that we learned this week, and we see it as important to the maintenance of our health, right? So that we don't run our bodies ragged, so that we don't fuck up our mental capacity, so that we're not spiritually stretched thin, we have to learn that saying no and having healthy boundaries is in support of our elevation. It's in support of your elevation. It's not going to block your elevation. You don't need to commit to everything. You don't need to say yes to everything. You still can be successful, right? So that's the health reading. Part of the reason why some of us are struggling with our creative endeavors is because we've overcommitted to a whole bunch of things, thinking that those things were going to push our creative endeavors forward, right? But unfortunately, we're now realizing that the burnout that comes with that ends up not being worth it. So that devil card, Capricorn, businessman, fatherly energy is coming up to give us permission to set better boundaries. So that Queen of Pentacles, we have the health and the capacity to take on the responsibilities that are going to be gifted to us in the immediate future. But if we don't teach ourselves how to do that now, if we don't learn how to exercise our tongue with healthy boundaries and learning how to say no when not to commit to everything, then it's going to cost us. So this is a form of protection that we gift ourselves with. It's not punishment. We're not going to fail. We're not going to end up in a position where all the opportunities go away. If anything, it gives us better discernment so that we're only picking the best opportunities. Okay? That is the health reading for this week. We are now at the end of the general reading. Thank you all for your patience. That was a little wordy. It took me a whole hour to get through just the general, but I hope that the wisdom I shared was helpful for people. Now I am willing to take questions from the audience. I have time to probably take maybe 5 questions before I need to go ahead and tag out. So if you do have a question for me, go ahead and start writing it in the comments. As you all are writing your questions in the comments, I'm going to go ahead and give some updates. My course on the Neptune retrograde is up on my Patreon. So if you are interested in watching that course, it is a bonus class for the month of July. We will still have our Patreon exclusive class at the end of the month, which I've been kind of talking about a little bit here and a lot in the group, but I just never got around to doing it. But I'm going to do it on July 28th. And that is the class where I teach you all how to transmute gossip into abundance. As someone whose name is always on the mouth of people who have no right to say goddamn thing about me, this is something that I've been working on really concretely for the last 2 years, because I feel like if bitches are gonna talk about me, I might as well get paid for it, right? So I have developed a series of workings that I think are really, really helpful for that. And this is building on my last lecture about the energy or the nature of jealousy. So if you are interested in being a part of that class, join my Patreon at one of the paid tiers. The link to my Patreon is below in the comments section. This is the last week that you can get the Gold and Shadows financial blockage reading at a discounted rate. After the 15th, it's going to go up to its original price or its intended price. So if you would like to get this reading while it's still $85, go ahead and go over to soleilconjureshop.com and check that out. Okay? Charm School. I am reopening enrollment for Charm School. And the new I'm hoping that my new cohort will start on August 20th. Interviews are open now. So if you would like to join us in Charm School to learn the foundations of priestesshood, then go ahead and click the link below, join the intake group. I will be having an informational Q&A session on July 24th. So keep your eyes and ears open for the link to that. La Balin said, I truly believe in this. You gonna pay me on the front end or the back end, but you will pay, baby. Facts. 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 I do not argue and beg and barter with people to stop talking about me. The one time that I did that with some idiot that I was foolish enough to think that loved me, they just used that to play in my face for half of last year. And that was when I was like, okay, I'm clear on that. I'm clear now. So now I'm just putting it, okay, you can talk about me all you want to. It's just going to be money in my pocket. That's just where I'm at with it. And I look so forward to helping all of you figure out how to do the same for yourselves, okay? Let's see. First question. Again, if you want to send a love offering, my PayPal and my Cash App are scrolling below. Just don't be stingy. It's energy exchange. The least you can do is send $1, right? Ami ASMR says, is it in my best interest to find a new apartment at the end of my lease or to stay where I'm at? Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits walk with me. Should Ami look for a new apartment or should she stay where she is? Anyone some share to deeply appreciate it. Thank you, Elisa. She said this reading resonated, and I really believe you were sent to give these messages. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hold on, I believe somebody had a question ahead of you. No, that wasn't a question. That was a comment. Okay. All right. Let's look into Ami's apartment. No, not yet. Not yet. Continue to stay there. If you try to force this move before you are ready, it will result in heartbreak. It will result in frustrations that just really cripple you and cause you a lot of pain and a lot of frustration. Spirit is saying that it's important that you take this time to strategize, to do your research and develop a plan around a move. And once you do that, then go ahead and strike while the iron is hot and move forward with that. But right now, with this particular lease ending, no, it's not a good idea for you to move. You need a little bit more time to plan and develop. You could very easily end up in a place that is very lackluster and that frustrates you and breaks your heart because then you have this commitment to being somewhere where your heart doesn't want you, right? So that would be my wisdom, is to go ahead and wait a little longer, okay? Let's see. Let's see. Do my ancestors want me to go deeper into an ATR? Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits walk with me. Is African traditional religion something that Tashana is called to? If so, why? Is this something that's in alignment with her ancestors? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Yes, yes. You have a lot of very, very fiery spirits, West African spirits around you. A lot of the warrior spirits in your bloodline practice African traditional religion. It's something that's going to bring you a lot of protection. Knight of Wands. This is going to put a battery in your back to go after the things that you want, right? You struggle with, you yourself don't have a lot of fieriness, Tashana. I don't know if you're going to say this. You struggle with kind of going after the things you want. And the spirits that want to work with you and that are over you will really help you in terms of standing in your power and being in that spirit of execution. It's also going to bring a lot of clarity to you and a lot of spark around your passions. There are 3 deities that are tied to the King of Wands in my pantheon, and I'm not going to say their names here on the live. I love everybody, but some of y'all who don't have access will, you kind of move from a deductive thing where, like, if I say what those spirits are connected to this card, you will assume that when the card comes up for you that it's tied to those spirits, and that's not how this works. But they're very strong. They're very strong, and they specifically with you want to work with you around your charisma and your worthiness. So I'm seeing this as a resounding yes, and I'm seeing it as confirmation about particular spirits that already have a lot of interest in you. Okay? So that will be my answer for you for that question. Carrie says, am I finally going to see his face, or am I wasting my time? It's been a month, but I'm moving on. I told him, show your face or leave me alone. Okay. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits that walk with me, elevated ancestors. Will Carrie finally see this person's face, or should she continue to focus on moving forward? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. And I think I'm going to do maybe 2 more after Carrie, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the night, okay? Oh, I'm going to have to because my phone about to die. Okay. I got you, Elisa. Okay, so Elisa, I can, but I'm not going to say that on here. We can talk about that a little bit more offline if you're open to it. But I could absolutely tell you who the spirits are that are giving that message. So Carrie, no, you're not going to see this person's face. Spirit is saying move on and move away from this, knowing that what you're going towards is better. This is a Wheel of Fortune moment that's meant to literally teach you that you need to focus on what's next and not this person. We end with the 6 of Wands. You are going to have such better experiences beyond this, and there's already a lot of eyes on you. People respect you deeply. You are a very influential woman. So this isn't even something you should be concerned about. But no, just go ahead and don't wait around for this person. Let's do one more. You're welcome, Tashana. I think there was one more that I can get. Tori Allen, I recently reconnected with an old crush. What does Spirit think about our connection? Okay. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits that walk with me, motivated ancestors. What does Tori need to know about this reconnection with her old crush? What do her spirits think about this reconnection? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Okay, Lisa, just whenever you're ready, send me a message on WhatsApp. Or I think you have my direct phone number too, so you can just text me. They think, so they like this connection. They just want you to not be mean. I know that's a fucked up way to say it. But so Queen of Swords, right? Queen of Swords, she's the least kind when somebody from her past comes back up. And it's not intentional. It's just, again, she's wielding that sword to protect herself. So the spirits are saying that if you're going to reconnect with this person, be completely open to reconnecting with this person and getting to know them in their new capacity and where they are now, right? Don't be guarded. Don't be emotionally guarded, right? And that's confirmed through the Star card. Have hope and faith about the situation, right? Because if you can do that, Yeah, y'all are both, yeah, Ratal said big air sign. Y'all both Libras, and Libras be doing that shit. Typically the sweetest people on the planet, but if somebody has hurt them in the past, oh my God. But yeah, if you're going to do this, be open and have faith and have trust that your experience is going to be different as you open up to them, okay? Because both of you guys have made a lot of personal progress. Both of you guys have hit a lot of milestones, and y'all actually have a lot of respect for each other. So if you can meet one another where you are in terms of seeing each other's progress, then this can be great. But if you continue to move in a way that's guarded and you guys are like throwing the past in each other's face, it's not worth it. Okay? All right, everyone. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's reading. Again, make sure that you share the replay with people. Share this reading far and wide, okay? I will be back on Thursday to do a happy hour reading. If you have any suggestions for topics, go ahead and put them in the comments. But honestly, between, Trump and his public temper tantrums and celebrities not knowing how to act right, I'm probably sure I'm going to come up with a topic between now and Thursday anyway on my own. But if you think of something that you would like for us to talk about when we get together to have drinks, do some readings, and shoot the shit on Thursday, make sure you put that in the comments, okay? Love you all. Take care. Do good. Treat each other good. And I will see y'all Thursday. Bye-bye.